Just to clarify, I'm a 5'7", 14-year-old female. Please excuse any mistakes. My grammar and spelling are horrific. This encounter took place when I was 13. I live in a very quiet village in Scotland, and this town has never had a kidnapping before that I know of, so I wasn't exactly prepared for this encounter. My parents asked me to run down to the local Tesco for essentials such as bread and milk, so I started my walk a half-mile or so downtown. Since I am a really paranoid person, I normally keep a good eye on my surroundings, and I noticed something off. A black minivan is driving slowly behind me. I'm too afraid to turn around again to see the driver, but I pick up my walking pace. They also drive a little faster. In my head, I'm screaming, "I'm gonna die, I'm gonna die." I finally make it into the Tesco car park and practically sprint to the front doors. I probably looked like an idiot, but when you think you are going to be murdered, you run fast. I talked to one of the cashiers who was a very nice young lady who looked like she was in her early 20s. I told her I thought I was being followed and pointed to the car so she could get a good look at the plate number, and she said her friends would look out for me. I felt a little better and made my way to the dairy aisle. I was scanning for the cheapest milk when there was a tap on my shoulder. I turned around to this 6'2" middle-aged man that had greasy black hair and was wearing a tracksuit. "Hey there. Just wanted to say that you are really beautiful. Very pretty." He took a few steps towards me. I, being a person who really hates human interaction, started to cry silently, the tears just spilling down my face with no sound. He takes this opportunity to say, "Now there, stop crying. Don't want that gorgeous face of yours all wet. You and me should go down and have a drink together. What do you say?" I'm so scared, but then I hear the cashier's voice behind him. She yells at him, asking what the hell he's doing. "Oh, well, I'm just asking my beautiful girlfriend here if she wants to have a drink at the bar. That's all." Girlfriend? Beautiful? I'm wearing a Hogwarts Hufflepuff hoodie that's too big for me, with scruffy jeans and scruffy shoes. How the hell am I beautiful right now? I look up to the lady and whisper, "I'm 13. This is when she threatens to call the police. He backs off and says this is all a big misunderstanding and he thought I was older. He then turns and runs out of the store. The lady, whose name was Rachel, helped me gather the rest of my items since I was in a panic state and called the police and told them the guy's license plate number and called my parents to inform them that they should pick me up. I bought her a box of chocolates the next day to say thank you. I don't know what happened to the man, but I hope he's in police custody, where he belongs. So, creepy guy who thought I was older, let's not meet again." This incident happened in the summer of 2015. I live by myself in a nice house inside a small town. Low crime, but still the occasional shady fucker. Anyway, at work that day, on a smoke break, I watched a dog get thrown from a moving vehicle, 4-lane city traffic during the start of rush hour. I ran right out there, scooped his little ass up, and booked it back to my workplace. He was not injured, amazingly. As a bleeding heart animal lover, I decided to take him home with me until I could figure out what to do with him. I have a large amount of cats, always have. This was my first experience with a dog that I was solely responsible for. This guy was very shy, head hung, tail tucked, jumpy, just looking at me like I was about to beat him. I was clueless on the subject of dog personalities and tendencies. I just knew they needed to be taken out frequently. His first night with me, we had been out about 15 times, as I did not want him shitting in my house. I was having my final cigarette of the day on my porch at around 10:30 p.m. The dog was chilling under my chair as I smoked and poked around on Reddit. I see a man walking on the sidewalk that runs by my house. He kept glancing up at me before passing. Shortly after he passed my house, he stopped, turned on his heel, and approached. "Hey, can you tell me where 302 Church Street is?" he asked. I told him I would search the address on my phone, which of course was taking a minute to pull up. He explained he didn't have a phone of his own and was attempting to get to a friend's house, taking small steps toward me the whole time. Finally, the address I summoned came up. It's exactly 2 blocks north of here, right on the southwest corner of the cross street, I told him, pointing in the direction. He kept his eyes locked on me, continuing to slowly move closer. Doggo starts growling very softly at this point. I had forgotten he was even there until now. "Mind if I take a look at the map?" He grinned sheepishly. "I'm bad with directions." I rose from my seat, pointing again. "It's truly just 2 blocks up this road. Just follow the road, 2 blocks. The house will be on your right," making it very clear that I wasn't going to just hand him my phone. "Well, can I call them? I need to let them know I'm coming," he said, still creeping closer, extending his hand. "No," I replied. "How about a text then?" Pushing forward still. "Dude, no." I started toward my door. Just let me see your phone." He was visibly becoming pissed off, clearly trying to contain it and getting way too close to my porch. As a last-ditch effort of getting this dude to fuck off, I say, "You need to get the fuck out of my yard. My dog is protective. He will fuck you up." Hell, I didn't know the first fucking thing about this dog, let alone whether he had the capacity to fuck someone up. I just hoped saying so would intimidate pushy phone guy. Like I had said the magic words, Doggo springs into action. Like the wolf creature from the never-ending story, he emerges like a fucking bullet from under the chair, growling, snarling, barking his little ass off. He jerks me damn near off the porch trying to get to this guy. He sounded and acted like an 80-pound attack dog, not a 40-pound timid beagle mix. I was afraid. I didn't know if the pup would turn on me. As stated previously, at the time I knew absolutely jack shit about dogs. He backed his headquarters into my legs, almost nudging me to the door, still carrying on, eyes locked on Phone Dude and baring his teeth. Phone Dude holds up his hands and backs off, stammers something like, 2 blocks north, yeah? And begins walking that way. I go inside, cut off my lights and peek out the window at him. He glances at my house, assured I'm inside, turns and begins walking the completely opposite direction I pointed him in. Icing on the cake, he pulls out a phone from his pocket and raises it to his ear to make a call. Doggo secured his place as a member of my family that night. He is incredibly protective of me and has frightened away another creep since this incident. He is attached at my hip and has made it known that he is grateful to be in a safe, loving home where he will never again become a projectile from a moving vehicle. His name is Hank, and I truly believe that night would have ended very poorly for me had he not been there. About a month ago, I was jogging around my neighborhood at 5:30 a.m. I like that time because it's cool out during the summer and no one is around to judge me breathing like a wounded boar while I run. It was still really dark out, but I live in a really good town off the California coast called Santa Barbara, and nothing that bad ever happens there. After running up a large hill, I decided to walk the rest of the way home. I pass a few small boutiques and notice this guy, maybe 30 years old and at least 6 foot tall, walking behind me. Now, I'm not exactly the type of girl that gets harassed in any way. I have short purple hair, a nose piercing, gauges, and I'm a bit heavy for my height. I'm also 15 years old, but I admit you couldn't tell by looking at me. I'm skeptical that this guy is after me, so I pay no attention to him, but after walking all the way to my high school, a good 1 or 2 miles away, I start to notice him more. I look back and see him staring intently at my hair, like more than a usual person would. I dart through a gate at the back of my school and walk quickly across the football field. He follows, not looking away from my head. I've had enough of this by now and turn around and say, trying to be as intimidating as possible even though I'm shitting bricks, "Are you following me? 'Cause I feel like you're following me and I really don't fucking appreciate it." The guy just stood there and said, in the most creepy voice, "Your hair, it's beautiful." His face looked as though he is in immense pleasure. I'm not at all convinced his fascination is as innocent as that, but I just walk away. I get to the side of my school, thinking he's left me alone, but I pass a corner and see him there, by some tennis courts, watching me. Then I jog away. 5 minutes or so pass, and then I see a blue Saturn Ion pull up next to me. It's the guy. He is, I shit you not, jerking off right next to me. I scream and bolt as fast as humanly possible back to the high school. I run through the side staff driveway and book it into the school and up the stairs. My phone was dead from listening to music during my run, so I couldn't call anyone. I hid in there for 20 minutes, cried, and looked out the hallway windows to see him driving by ever so often. By now, 40 minutes have passed and he has long since given up. I exit the building and take the bus home, too scared to walk anymore, shaking. I get home and pass out, partly from the exhaustion of running and partly from the exhaustion of crying for 20 minutes straight. When I wake up, I don't tell my mom about it, fearing she'd never let me run alone ever again. I know, that's a stupid reason, but I thoroughly enjoy my morning runs. I didn't let that creeper stop me from what I enjoy, and to this day, I still go on my morning runs. I haven't seen him since. I live in a small tourist town that is usually dead except for payday weekends. I work night shifts, so it's not uncommon for me to be walking home alone at around 1 a.m. I always walk on the main roads with lots of lights, and most nights I have music on. I am also in my early 20s, 5'8", and around 125 to 130 pounds. Tonight I left work last and started my walk home alone like normal. I see one of my coworkers hanging out with a bunch of her friends. I wave and continue on. As I walk past a group of guys outside of a bar, one of them smiles at me. Me, being Canadian, I smile back. He took this as an invitation and starts following me, asking questions. At this point I have paused my music, but still pretend to not hear him. He stops following me and shouts, "Nice ass, love." And I think that's that. I was wrong. 2 minutes later, he appears next to me on a bike, continuing to ask questions. I politely take one earbud out and call my fiancé, but no answer since he's at work too. I text my coworker to call me immediately. He starts asking if he is creeping me out, and I very bluntly say that I'd like him to leave me alone, and the whole situation is creepy. My coworker finally calls and I start talking as if they were my best friend. The conversation went like this. "Hey, I'm so glad you called. Where are you?" "Is that your man? 'Cause I'm gonna steal you away from him." "You just saw me. What's wrong?" "Oh, nothing. I'm just glad you got home safe." "I don't understand." Nice hips. Childbearing hips. Where do you work?" "Down over there. Take a guess and walk there." "Are you in trouble?" "Yes, honey, it's totally fine. I have no problem with you borrowing my stuff." "I'm on my way to you. Stay on 1st Street. "You aren't very nice to me. Why are you nice to her? I'm gonna steal you away from her too. "Oh, totally, honey. You should do it. Quick, before someone snags it on you. Don't want to miss your dream home." "Do you have kids?" "Yes." So yummy. I hope I'm not freaking you out." Yes, you are." "Okay, I'm on a bike with my friends and a half a block behind you. I've got the police on the phone. Where is your turn?" "Oh, thanks, hun. It's the Rexall one." "Okay, so it's on Rex Street?" "Yup." "I want to see that ass wiggle." The man behind me starts speeding up, so he gives me no choice but to speed walk or get hit by his bike. At this point, I have to either make my turn down my street or keep going and double back. Before I act, he sees his friends up ahead and races off to them. I book it down my street, telling my coworker what's going on. They are still about a block behind me, and I have 3 to go before I reach my house. I don't see or hear him for 2 blocks, and I think I'm safe. Again, I was wrong. Out of nowhere, the man jumps in front of me and grabs my purse and arm, dragging me towards the bushes, yelling about my hips and how he's going to steal me. He looks me dead in the eyes and says something I'll never forget. "You aren't my first, but I'll be your last." I'm screaming and pulling away from him, but he is stronger. Thank God that my coworker and her friends race towards me and finally separate him from me. The man runs back into the bushes and the girl on the phone with the police gives a full description of what just happened. I don't know how long I stood there just shaking and crying, but the next thing I remember is my coworker taking my phone and my purse and guiding me to sit on the curb while a cop car pulls up and everyone gives him their statements. Someone throws a sweater over me and the officer is trying to question me, asking if I had ever seen him, what he wanted, if he gave me any personal information, any identifiable marks. I answer as best I can and the officer takes me home. The officer was very sweet. He let my coworker come with me and doesn't leave until he is sure I am settling in with the promise that they will do drive-bys all night. I call my fiance back from a gig and my coworker stays with me until he got home. I am writing this now wrapped up in a blanket with hot cocoa with a large amount of Bailey's ice cream and hoping that I never meet that creep again. Hey guys, thank you all for watching, and if you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit that subscribe button and join the Nightmare Army. I'm always looking for new soldiers in my Nightmare Nation. So I gotta ask you guys a question. Do you guys go on Twitch a lot? Well, if you do, I don't. But I do have a good friend of mine that does Twitch a lot, and his name is Darkemetheto. If you guys can do me a really big solid, I'd appreciate it if you go check out his Twitch channel. Normally, I really don't like it when people play video games and I have to watch. It's almost like I don't know, it's like as soon as I see someone playing, I want to grab my controller and start playing. But anyways, guys, I could watch this guy for hours. He's awesome, and I definitely think you guys will enjoy him. So go check out Darkemetheto on Twitch. I guarantee you guys will like him. And make sure you tell him that I sent you there. But as always, guys, thank you so much for watching. I really hope you enjoy the video. I'm having so much fun uploading daily for you guys. And as always, the best ideas always come out of nightmares.